Okay. From D'banj to Wizkid to Davido to even Burna Boy who won a Grammy, and now Wizkid. Finally, we have a Hot 100 Afrobeats record.
Which is wild.
Hot 100 Afrobeat records.
Wild.
Wizkid's album, for context, Wizkid's record, Essence, featuring Thames, debuted on Billboard Hot 100 in America. 92. That means like it's the top 100 song in the United States of America.
Which is wild.
What was your first reaction to it?
I was like, I saw it coming.
Yeah.
I've been tweeting. So here's the thing. I like when people say, "Oh, we saw it coming." No, you didn't see it coming. Stop lying. Like, here's what I want to say. When the song came out on this show,
on your review,
during the review of Made in Lagos, on Pulse and on the video, we said Essence was one of the best Nigerian songs of last year because it was just that good. It was obviously the best song on that album. I mean, no shit to some other songs on that album, like a song like Blessed, for example, or True Love, for example, or Sweet One, some of those records. But fam, Essence was obviously head and shoulders above all the other records. How it could be marketed to Nigeria and the marketing strategy that I could have used. What I thought within myself was, whoa, the face of Afrobeats is going to be a real conversation now. That's number one. But number two, I saw it coming. I wasn't surprised when I saw it. I've tweeted about it. The two things that made me realize I was going to end up there. I tweeted on May 1 that this song, it looks like someone is pushing this song. I'm looking forward to a Grammy nomination for it. Then in June, I tweeted that I would not be that when it made the Apple Top 50, I was like, nah, this song is probably going to do something. Then when it made Bubbling On, I was like, it's usually a prequel to Hot 100. So I wasn't surprised. The push is good, the song is great, and it was inevitable. But the most important thing is, this just sealed the conversation around Wizkid as outright the greatest of his generation. Like, we're going to talk about Burna Boy's Grammy win, but are you going to talk?
Get to that later.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Right.
How did we get here with Wizkid? Because he did an American focused album, Sounds from the Other Side, in 2017, right? And obviously it didn't work.
No, it didn't work.
Salman EP came, you bashed it.
No, it was a horrible EP.
Made in Lagos, then Essence. Like, how did we get here in terms of like from a Wizkid's perspective?
Wizkid is a story of resilience. I was talking to a producer here this afternoon, like today, and the producer, we're having a conversation about how whatever that guy is on, I think everybody should pray for it because it just never goes away. Wizkid, it felt like Wizkid was going away before Made in Lagos. Things were shaky. There was an uncertainty around Wizkid. But look at what happened with Made in Lagos. What was
that uncertainty? How did the uncertainty come about? Because this is Wizkid you're talking about.
Yeah,
how can there be an uncertainty about Wizkid?
Before the album, after One Dance, he had a record with Drake, Come Closer. It was a huge record. But he had Drake on it, so he was going to have great numbers. And it's Wizkid and Drake on the record. He's going to have great numbers anyway. But was the record as groundbreaking as a Wizkid record could have been? No, it wasn't. Then the album dropped. The album had some timeless records, especially Sweet Love. Sweet Love, Sound from the Other Side. Especially Sweet Love. Sweet Love is a great record. But the album succeeded in making Wizkid get stuck in between audiences. Like, people will find something to like, but it never really gave them the satisfaction. It's like Twice As Tall. Even though Twice As Tall is a better album, obviously a much better album, but the feeling that Twice As Tall gives a lot of people is you will like it, but you can't relate enough with
African Giants.
Exactly, but Twice As Tall is not African Giant. The relatability is lower on a larger scale. So African Giant and Made in Lagos, on a level of relatability, they are arguably on the same scale. Not quality, relatability.
Yeah.
So you can understand why Nigerians can like both albums over a Twice As Tall or over a Sounds from the Other Side. So when that album didn't work, obviously the major label thingy, a lot of problems that we can talk about on the show and a lot of things. 2017 December, Wizkid obviously had Maya. that was where the sound started changing for him significantly. Like the sound is currently on, the mid-tempo sort of sound. It started from sound from the other side, but Maya was the moment a lot of people realized it. The mid-tempo record, the energy. Maya was the first refined moment where Wizkid found that sound. And then January 2018, you had Soko. Later in the year, he had Bad Energy with Skepta. Later in the year, he had Fake Love. He had Fake Love, yes. Yeah. And then towards the end of the year, he had Fever. Fever didn't enter. Fever and Master Group. Master Group still did not enter today. But Fever entered after the video. It was Savage, obviously. But even with those runs, it felt like something was missing. Because Wizkid promised, it also didn't help that Wizkid promised Made in Lagos way before then, and Made in Lagos didn't come for a long time. Made in Lagos felt like it was going to be the new Detox, right? Mm-hmm. But 2018, Wizkid didn't release anything in 2018 until later in the year. Much later, 2019 until much later in the year, and he dropped Ghetto Love and Joro. Ghetto Love, I love Ghetto Love, I've said it several times, but guess what? You can understand people don't like it. It didn't enter. Joro has incredible numbers on YouTube. The numbers are crazy. But there's a reason why, even though Joro falls into if you put Joro on Made in Lagos, it will not have been out of place. Mm-hmm. Because it's cut from the same cloth. Even Ghetto Love. But there's a reason why Joro did not make Made in Lagos. If there are outside issues, yeah, maybe. But there's also a reason why, even though you can understand why Wizkid released Soundman under Starboy, not Wizkid. Yeah. Released it as Starboy Records. Yeah. Starboy presents something. You can understand that, but at the same time, it also felt like it is still Wizkid. And Wizkid at the time was experimenting. He was testing the soundscape. And remember, before he dropped Made in Lagos, he dropped like 4 songs, throwaway records. He did like a few, like 2 records with DJ Tunes. He did one throwaway record. They leaked one record with Akon, and then there was another record inside that dropped. But those records were not. If you are not careful, you won't find them on the internet. Mm-hmm. But they were there. So it felt we did an episode before Made in Lagos dropped that. Made in Lagos was Wizkid's most important album. Yeah. It is still Wizkid's most important album because it came on the back of an uncertain run where they were, for the first time in Wizkid's life, there were genuine doubts about the sustainability. And it didn't help that in 2019 Q2 there was like everybody in Wizkid's generation, including Wizkid himself, they slowed down. Even Wizkid wasn't on social media, if you remember, for like 6 months. He wasn't on social media. He wasn't posting anything. There was a space, and a bunch of young guys ran into it with their expansive sonic palette, relatability to a younger generation. Everything just worked at once. Well, Brema, Fireboy, Joe Boy, T-Classes for a minute, and then later you had Omali, you had Thames, a lot of them. But guess what? Made in Lagos drops. A lot of people doubted Made in Lagos at the time. If you remember, on the review for Made in Lagos, we said here that this album is going to age like fine wine because it was obvious. True. It was just so obvious. True. That you could have thrown away 2 records from it, yes, but it was obvious that this album, the A&Rs on that album, they are spectacular people. They are so smart. You can see why they crafted that album in the image and likeness of Wizkid. That album was not built to exhibit any weaknesses of Wizkid. It was built to amplify his strengths. And did he do that? Amazingly, he did it. Okay.
After the album, Smile was a single. Yeah. After Smile, what was the next single?
There was Smile, there was No Stress.
There was No Stress. Yeah. Talk about just briefly, the choice of the single.
Before the album dropped, again, we talked about how there was a trend in Nigerian music where people were not releasing, they were not focused on hit singles, they were just focused on quality albums, because a quality album with a lot of good records is going to give you way more streams and make you way more money from direct music sales than one single. A single is going to give you all those things, but these days, people are even using bodies of work to push singles these days, because you will see people release bodies of work and their single will go to number 1 on Apple Music or wherever else, right? So that's what the soundscape was at the time that Wizkid was releasing the singles. It wasn't about hit records for a lot of the big artists. Release a quality body of work and it will sustain your body of work, and that was what Wizkid did. By January, they didn't even release the videos on time. A lot of people were complaining. Ginger came slightly later than it should have come. Yeah. Ginger should have come in 2020, the video, but then Essence, come on, okay, come on.
And just middle of the year, from March, started seeing that I'm not going to call it push. I'll leave that to you. Yeah. We just started seeing Essence everywhere. Like American celebrities, like just people randomly on Instagram. You just start seeing the people playing the records. How did that come about?
You can literally see a trajectory to that record. Like, first things first, a lot of people seem to mistake the idea that you say a song is being pushed for the song being a horrible record and the blowing being a direct result of the pushing or not the quality of the record.
Yeah.
You have to be smart enough to have conversations. Don't be intentionally stupid or obtuse, right? These days, nothing is organic anymore. It's the streaming era, right? The best you can do right now is, number one, have a good record that suits a streaming demographic. 2, you need to have a record with high replay value. 3, it must not be that long. 4, you must have great rollout plans. 5, you must have a great marketing strategy to sustain the record. So before Essence dropped, you have to look at the overall the story around the record. They must have seen the back end of that record before it blew. On YouTube, that record had 8 million views at the time they released the video. On its own, 8 million views. The audio, 8 million in less than 6 months. That is crazy. Like, if you record the audio, the video now it has 40 million views currently. Do you know how mad that shit is? So if the people at RC, and guess what? Thames and Wiz are on the same label. You can literally see the positioning for Thames. You can see it. If
that's my next question.
You can see it.
What role does Thames play? Because I've seen people on Twitter having that conversation that, Thames made the song better. Other people are even saying that Thames is the one they are pushing, and that's why the record is moving. What's your opinion?
So it's you can't explicitly say Thames is the one they are pushing, even though that might be the case. You can't say that explicitly. What we know is it's smart for the label to push 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh, they are both on the same label.
They are both on the same label. It's to push 2 artists. 2 birds, 1 stone. It's a smart idea.
Let's clarify a record so that people will know.
RCA Records.
Okay.
RCA Records, Sony. It's a smart idea. Because you are looking to break an African superstar.
And also Adele talking about
who is a legend. Yeah, who is a legend, right? Thames has met everybody. Drake, Daniel Kaluuya, and Daniel Kaluuya won an Oscar. Who has Thames not met? She's covered Wonderland. She recently covered Essence magazine. Yeah. Do you know she's on a song called Essence? She's covering Essence magazine. It's a smart idea. Yeah. These things are part of a rollout. And as a matter of fact, over the past 1 year, the best types of rollout that I've seen in my life are 2 people. Thames and Chloe Bailey from Chloe and Lily. Yeah. The way they are pushing them, they are taking their time to roll these people out. It's so strategic. Everything is beautiful. I really credit those labels that are pushing them. So back to Essence, nothing is organic anymore. So they must have seen the back end of these records, and it's a good record. If it's not a good record, some records are not good enough. Yeah. And they still enter. You don't like some records, but the moment they push them in the face, you will like them. But Essence is different. People have liked Essence from the go. So Essence has been an amazing record. Yeah. But did the push make this record great? Obviously.
Okay.
If you don't push the record, it's not going anywhere.
Okay.
Without a push, Essence would have probably, if that significant push, Essence would have been another year or 4. Great reception, but not as much to get certified. Mm-hmm. And you can see the things that this record is doing. It's amazing.
So rounding up now to the main issue, right? I tweeted about it.
Yeah. They got a lot of reactions.
Yeah. This is the Afrobeats' biggest moment.
It is.
More than Burna Boy's Grammy award. What's your take on it? You agree, obviously.
Oh, I do. I agree, actually.
Can you explain why you agree?
It's an expansive conversation. Number one, we have to look at how people discover music. How do people discover music? Some people discover music through social media. Is the biggest music marketing tool now. Yeah. But playlists are also there as the biggest music marketing tool. I remember reading Trapezo recently, and Trapezo, Dan Ronzi was arguing that Snapchat is trying to get a deal with UMG because social media has become an incredible evangelist for music. But then you have to also look at playlists as well, right? But there are also some people that would have gone to play Burna Boy's Africa Twice as Tall after I won a Grammy. Right? So the way a lot of people discover music is expansive. But here is also the problem. The Grammy is an award. And guess what? The award is only is one night. The Grammy is the biggest, arguably the biggest music award in the world, right? The most prestigious. But it's one night, right? It's just one night. And even the last time they presented global music, it wasn't presented on the main stage. No.
Mm-hmm.
The last time Angelique Kidjo won. The last one was the virtual award, so we couldn't tell. It's one of the major categories.
Right?
America does not exactly see it like that, but guess what? A lot of music heads would go and look for those categories. Music heads.
Okay.
And major music platforms are talking about Burna Boy because of Afrobeats, right? So in a lot of ways, a Grammy is an incredible vehicle and evangelist for Afrobeats. Because I also don't like the way people are also looking at it. Because look at it this way. Before Burna Boy won a Grammy, we didn't think an African pop album was going to get a Grammy nomination. Right? It was hard. The kind of African albums that are getting Grammy nominations were folk albums or alternative albums. Look at it, Sonny Ade, Miriam Makeba, Lady Split Black Mambazo, Femi Kuti, Sheon Kuti, Soweto Gospel Choir, Angelique Kidjo. You can even Planet Drum, like Sikiri Adepoju. You can literally see the alternative and folk background to all those albums. But Burna Boy was a pop album. I don't want people to forget the fact that the landscape before Burna Boy got a nomination for African Giants, it didn't seem likely. However, Hot 100 is a different ball game. Hot 100 is a different ball game because it has way more mileage than a Grammy will. Again, a Grammy is one day. But see, aside from the push that they are giving Essence, which means everybody's going to listen to it, the result that the record made makes Hot 100, especially if it's an African record, means it has been a hit in several major hubs. And guess what? Before a record penetrates Hot 100, it also means another thing, that it's not just the major hubs anymore. It has transcended and penetrated into smaller hubs. Now, a Grammy, in contrast, a Grammy is judged by arguably music heads, people that are relatively informed. They are more informed than the average farmer in Wisconsin or Texas, right? But if a record is making it to Hot 100,
explain to people, Nigerians, Africans, what Hot 100 is.
Hot 100 is an aggregation of the top 100 records on the American soil over a period of time. In America.
And so is one
it's an aggregate. It's an aggregator of streaming, radio, consumption, basically.
Yeah.
You can literally see it. Billboard has been talking about aggregating social media for numbers as well, social media conversation. You can see it as well. So it means this record has penetrated. Like, it's not just the result of informed individuals making a decision about an award.
Yeah.
It's the result of patterns of consumption by people. Like, yes, the push for Essence got it on major playlists, right? On the major playlists that have millions of streams, on millions of listeners and subscribers. But guess what? The push didn't make it stay there.
Yeah.
If people were not streaming this record, the record will probably not be there.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So, and it's the result of being on a playlist is not why it's on Hot 100. It's not on Hot 100. The result of it being on Hot 100 is a result of streams. Yeah. It means people are actually streaming this record and they love it. Now, you look at, there was a video from New York like a week ago or 2 or 10 days ago, where a lot of people, like, the moment you can see white Americans, young white Americans singing a record, you know that record has impacts. Because why? The black race is less than 15% of America.
Okay, so let me ask. Afrobeats to the world.
Yeah.
It's a goal, it's a movement.
It is.
It's something that Nigerian artists want to achieve. It's a dream of ours from everybody who's passionate about Nigerian music. Winning a Grammy in the world music category and having a placement on the Hot 100. I want to ask you this question explicitly. Which is the most important and biggest feat for Nigerian music?
Which one is? It's about visibility.
So which one is the biggest feat?
It's Hot 100. Come on, it's Hot 100. Hot 100 is, like I was analyzing, is a result of patterns of consumption. It's a proof of mileage and proof of acceptance of the record. Okay. Right? Okay. It's also, aside from the fact that Burna Boy's Grammy is crashed the door open for people in terms of award. But guess what? The patterns that will get people to get nominated for the award is the consumption of the music. Do you get what I mean? So if you're busy, Burna Boy's Twice As Told that got a Grammy nomination landed on number 54. African Giant landed in the top 100. outside the top 90, right? So
for the albums,
for the albums,
for 200, Billboard 200.
Yes, you can easily see that Essence is going to get the Grammy nomination.
Yeah.
Easily. I've been saying it since May. This record is going to get a Grammy nomination, and if it wins now, I'm not going to be surprised because of the acceptance and the penetration to the Hot 100, which is no mean feat. Like before, global music category was populated by great records, like the people that are judging that category. I was speaking to one highly placed person in terms of the judges of that category, and you literally see that the people that judge the music, they judge music like critics.
Yeah.
They don't judge music by commercial acceptance or what is acceptable in Africa. It's what they deem to be music. Yeah. That's why classical music by Soweto Gospel Choir or folk music, because they have patterns of original music, like quality rudimentary music. That's why they are going to say. But now everything looks to be changing. So you are not going to be surprised that because Essence is a Hot 100 record, it's probably going to win a Grammy.
Okay. So where does this thing right now, said Wizkid's...
And before we even get there, Seth, the impact of Essence is going to transcend everything.
Yeah.
Because you remember what happened after D'banj debuted in the top 10 of the UK Afrobeats chart. You remember what that was, at the time, that was the biggest moment Afrobeats ever had. And do you remember what changed after that? Ice Prince rushed into it. It was a cement between Lagos and London. Lagos, Accra, London. It was a cement. Because immediately after D'banj, you have people like Fuso DG not just being big anymore in the UK, they were big here. So you can literally see all those things. The alignment was very clear. And guess what? The way major labels, because of what has happened with Essence now, major labels, because of competition as well and market share, major labels are going to push African artists differently. The way Burna is going to push Burna's next single and album is going to be different because they also want Burna to have a Billboard Hot 100 single.
Right.
So African artists are going to benefit significantly from this moment.
What does this do for Thames?
Oh, like I said, the best types of rollout that I've seen over the past 2 years, maybe over the past 5 years even, the best types of rollouts, Thames and Chloe Bailey. Do you know why? These people are being strategic about everything they do. Like, you can literally see that there is a board somewhere where they mapped out the roadmap, where they mapped out a roadmap for Thames to go. Essence was a moment. It's a rollout. Or it's an integral part of our rollout. It's very obvious. But at the same time, I also don't want people to go and start saying, Thames is the only reason Wizkid. That's stupid. Because Thames' career is benefiting from being on a Wizkid record. Yeah. It's still a Wizkid record that is made in Lagos. Do you understand what I mean? If it was that easy, they should have picked Damages.
Yeah.
You go hear what I mean? So Thames' career is going to benefit significantly from this. And guess what? What is going to come after this? The way they are pushing Thames, you can literally see that the branding they are giving her, it's not just an R&B brand. It's like her with more sensuality. It's not like Alicia Keys. It's not natural hair or minimalist fashion, covering your body, no cleavage. It's a little bit of sensuality and sexuality mixed with great music. So Thames is being pushed like a slightly more pop version of Georgia Smith. You can see it. Like you can see where it's coming from. Right? So this record Thames delivered a thing on Essence, like she delivered pop like an R&B artist. That is crazy. It achieved everything they want to do.
Lastly on this topic, where does this leave Wizkid in the GOATs conversation in Nigerian contemporary music?
I think it has been clear for a long time that Wizkid is the greatest of his generation. We have said it more than 10 times on the show. In terms of greatness of all time, Baba, let's not lie to ourselves. We said it the last time when we were talking about Wizkid's generation.
That they've surpassed the other generation.
They've surpassed every other person, except Fela. Yeah. At this time, Baba, with what that guy has done in 10 years, the only thing that we can't say about Wizkid, we can't measure the impact, the timeless impact of Fela's music. That's the only reason I can't put in my head of Fela's. Because Fela's music, from 50 years ago, they are still here. And the impact is going and going. It's best people. So that's why you might not be able to put him ahead of Fela. But in terms of impact, Baba, you will struggle to put any other person ahead of Wizkid. You will. Baba, look.
So the only thing Fela has over him now is longevity.
Longevity. Sunny Ade's music does, but even Sunny Ade sojourned to that place. Make no mistake, he was harder at the time.
Yeah.
It was significantly harder. Yeah. And the landscape at the time was not as ready for African music as it is now.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, we can't then undermine someone's success because some other people weren't as successful.
Yeah.
So we can only measure by the things we can see, even though we can provide context.
Yeah.
So
because he already has a Grammy.
He already has a Grammy as well. A lot of people, make no mistake, he didn't win it as the featured artist. He won the Grammy as an co-owner of the record. Artist. So it was Beyonce, Wizkid, and St. John featuring Blue Ivy.
Yeah.
He already has a Grammy, and looks like he's going to have another Grammy from Essence.
Yeah.
But now,
so this is it,
bro. It seals it easily. And right now, I'm even thinking, made in Lagos, you can see the patterns of the consumption. You can see because, so you're looking at Wizkid, like over the past 15 years in that global music category, right? You are looking at Wizkid. I mean, you are going to look at all the patterns of nominations, expansive music, large, deep, topical conversations and all that, and the whatever. Wizkid doesn't exactly fit into that, but things are happening right now because number one, Wizkid has cracked the Hot 100 now. Number two, Africans are more like there's more market share for Africans in the academy. And number three, there is also the made in Lagos factor, and there's also the fact that Wizkid is signed to a major RCA, and if they can wield their leverage enough, you never know what might happen. So, but the problem is, if Burna drops an album this year, can we have 3 pop albums in the global music category? If the nominees still remain 5, that remains to be seen. We don't know. But right now, what we can see is Wiz is going to get a Grammy nomination for his album. I don't know if it's going to be made in Lagos. It probably can be made in Lagos, but you never know.
One of the world performance.
That's what global music is. Global music.
Okay.
What a lot of people are also arguing is Wiz and Burna are going to because they've scored Hot 100 hits. They might get nominations outside the global music category. I think that might not be this year or the next Grammy. Because why? There's BTS records, Gangnam Style, never got nominations outside of their category. Latin pop records struggle to get nominations outside their category. There are #1 hits, they struggle to do it. So, but at the same time, the Recording Academy at the time was also not as receptive to foreign sounds as they are now. So we might not be able to exactly compare the Gangnam Style era with the Made in Lagos era. But what we can say is over the next few years, that's going to inevitably happen. What we can say right now is that Wiz is Made in Lagos is a front runner for a Grammy. Can it get nominated? That's what we have to wait to see. But it looks more likely than not. Can it win though? I don't know right now. I don't know. But what we know that for sure right now is that despite the fact that Two-Face, Idibia, whose music has been timeless over the past 10 years, and the fact that if African Queen had dropped now, we are looking at a brown skin girl type impact for that, because it would have had a better video. And if Two-Baba was signed to a major label with the Me Too conversations, the female-led conversation, forthwith of feminism, high exaltation of femininity these days, you can literally say that African Queen would have blown everybody away. Because it would have gotten the push, because it suits the agenda. It would have gotten that push. But at the same time, it never happened. That's why we have to push.
And it happened with Wizkid.
It happened with Wizkid. And Wizkid has done, Papa, we're talking Grammys, 2 albums, Billboard 200, a Hot 100 hits, come on now. And it's also been here for 10 years. Bro, Wizkid is the greatest in contemporary Nigerian music. It's not even a conversation anymore. And right now, arguably, it's only second to Fela, and that's facts only.